Hey everyone, Janet Kafadar here, and welcome to this free masterclass. The masterclass to build your business on 20 minutes a day. The 4 pillars to build your cash flow so you can leave your day job in the next 12 months. My name is Janet Kafadar from janetkafadar.com. I'll get into who I am in a minute, but let's just jump straight into it. I don't want to waste your time. And I know your time is precious because you're raising babies and working a day job and all the things in between. So let's jump into it. So as I said, welcome to the training. So let's figure out first, right, if this training is for you. And I just want to talk a little bit about what you may be going through. Now, you're probably at the stage in your business where you've been at this for a couple of years, right? Or maybe even a year or so, or a year or two, and you've bought all of the DIY online courses, watched the videos, done the worksheets, probably even printed off the worksheets at work so you can do them when you get home, or maybe do them on your lunch break, but you're still at the same place. And you like the excitement of starting something new. It's like you get that adrenaline rush, like, woohoo, oh my God, this is so exciting. And you also thrive off knowing the possibilities. Like, you're so passionate about what you do that the thought for you about what you can achieve and what you can do and the impacts you can have on other people and on your life is just like blows your mind. You just find it's all too much for you in a good way. But you also get bored easily and move on to something else that looks more exciting if the thing that you're working on is not moving as fast as you'd like. Don't worry, I get exactly the same feeling. And you spend more time, or you maybe have been spending more time on your website and maybe figuring out your social, kind of grow your followers on Instagram and all of that stuff instead of focusing on making money, right? Because maybe it feels a little bit too hard. Now, you may also be having the problem with, how to connect the dots in your business. So what steps to work on next and where to focus your attention and all that jazz. And maybe it's even connecting with prospective clients, And even if you are unsure about who they are, maybe it's like, well, how do I approach them? How do I go about doing the research and all of that jazz, right? Or maybe it's even organizing your train of thoughts. Because if you're anything like me, which I'm sure you are, your ideas in your brain ping pong around, endlessly. Well, I'd get that problem. So I'm sure you may be feeling the same. So if you have been feeling like that, then something is not working and something needs to change. Like, you don't need to be in that cycle and that merry-go-round forever. Because the truth is, you need to work on income generating activities only, period, the end. Now, you've likely said to yourself, but I've been at this for so long, how comes, I'm still in the same place? And I know. I completely understand. And you want the freedom to do the things your way, and be there for your family, for your kids, and not being told what to do by a boss. Oh my God, yes. And you have a calling to do something more. And, this cubicle life is no longer for you anymore. And you almost feel like you've probably outgrown your career or simply grown tired of doing the same thing day in, day out. But more than anything, you've probably realized that something's not working and something's got to change. So really, if this resonates with you and you are nodding your head or you're like, yes, I completely get it, that is me, then you're in the right place to be able to get access to this training, because really everything that we're going to cover is right here. So these 4 pillars here, right, to be able to launch you and get you into cash flow. As I said before, cash flow generating activities only is what matters. So the first pillar is how to get shit done. Now you may think, why is she swearing? I've got a real potty mouth, so if you really don't like swearing, then I'm sorry, this training really isn't for you. No hard feelings, it's completely cool, but I do swear, and if you don't like it, that's I also respect that as well. So pillar 1, how to get shit done. And pillar 2, the holy trinity of creating offers, right? We're going to go through the 3 core pillars there to be creating offers that actually people do want to get. And pillar 3 is how to pillar 3 is 20 minutes, the 20-minute a day miracle, to be able to get you into cash flow. Because I know that you're working a day job. You're raising a family and trying to do all the things. You're trying to do the sports practice. You're trying to drink enough water. You're trying to do, get your work-life balance game in check. You're trying to do your yoga, look after your partner and all the things. So I completely get it. And this is why 20 minutes a day strategy and this miracle is what you need to be able to help you move forward. And then pillar 4 is focusing on cash flow mastery. All right. So you've probably been told that you need to, right? That you've got to raise your hand or you've got to send me an email if any of these are correct. You've probably been told you need to build a sales funnel. You need to grow your email list. You need to create an email list. You need to grow it. You need to create a course so you can make money in your sleep whilst you're working your day job, right? You need to mine Facebook groups for days on end to find potential clients and all of that stuff, right? But you really don't. Like all of that stuff that I just mentioned comes later. Now here's the problem, is that they are so far ahead of where you are right now that they've forgotten what it's like to build a business whilst you're raising a family, holding down a day job and all of that stuff. They're so far ahead of speaking to you and where you are right now. Because I know that you're probably watching this either on your lunch break, you've either woken up early in the morning to watch it, you're on your lunch break, or you're watching it whilst just sitting at home, in the evening after you've put the dishes in the dishwasher or whatever it is, or you're probably watching this whilst you're at sports practice, right? So most of the people that do, no, hats off to them, they're great, but they're probably just so far ahead that it just feels so unrelatable. And the stuff and the strategies that they're talking about just aren't practical for someone who has like potentially 2 hours spare in the day, or maybe 1 hour maybe in an evening to be able to work on their business. That's why I get so disgruntled by that stuff. I'm like, this is just not going to work. It's not going to work for my women. So starting a business takes work. And you know that, like you've already done so much of the hard work already and been at this for some time, but it takes work. And I know that you're not scared of hard work. You're committed because let's get this done is your middle name, right? Like you haven't got to where you are in your career and all of that stuff without, hard work. Like you get that. You completely get it. So, but the only thing is that you're not focusing on the right things and potentially, posting on social media endlessly and maybe coming up with challenges like, oh, this would be a good idea for a challenge that I should do on Instagram, but really not having any big strategy behind it. Or maybe it's even just, working on your website endlessly. But the main thing is that the thing that we need to do is we need to realign your focus. You're just kind of standing there, a little bit like John Travolta, just a little bit lost, like, what do I need to do? Where do I need to go? We just need to realign it, make sure that it's all in check so that you're not kind of standing there like a little bit lost thinking, where the hell do I go and what do I do? Because your mind is filled with so much stuff. So, excuse me, in full transparency, this training will be about 45 to 60 minutes or so. May even be shorter. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I really do want to get you on a path to help you build your business after dark, really, and make sure that you have the opportunity to be able to leave your day job once and for all. So there's no more playing games with this anymore. Like this has got to end. Like we've got to make this a reality and make this come to life. So I am here to support you to be able to do that. And I feel honored to be able to do so. I'm not selling anything, but there is an opportunity at the end of this training, if you've liked what you've heard and you like my style and you like everything about me, to be able to get on a 30-minute consult with myself where we can deep dive and chat about your business and how I can help you move forward. Anyway, but enough of that. We'll come back to that later. So who am I and why should you be listening? My name is Janet Kafadar and I am from the UK. I was born in London and I've been living here in Canberra, Australia. I am an online business coach and consultant, and I help women who are working a day job, raising a family, and everything built in between build their online business empires after dark. My job and my mission is to help you go after what you want and make sure that you are working on income generating activities. Period. The end. That is all that matters in these early stages. So as we've identified earlier on in the video, this is definitely for you if you identified with any of the points that I raised before. So I am a mum of 3 beautiful kids, as you can see on the screen here, 3 kids under 8 years old who just light up my life and drive me crazy all at the same time. But I love them to pieces, and they are the reasons why I started my business. I started my business originally when my son was just a few months old, and I thought, yeah, this is great. I'd had the crazy idea that I was going to have a baby and build a baby business all at the same time. Like, this is completely nuts. And upon reflection, at the time I thought it was fine. But what happened was I ended up burning myself out. I was working too much, which is something that I really struggle with, and I'm always learning and relearning the lesson. But I had to take a back seat and figure out what the hell it was that I was going to do. And so I fell pregnant with my second. So there's only 16 months between my first and my second child. And so what happened was, when I went after I had her, and then I went back to work, I've got a contract role very, very soon after, and that was for a 9-month contract. And I was like, ooh, okay. And I still had in my head the idea of what I wanted to do. And so at the time, I was doing a lot of work in my career, and all of the work that I had been doing to date was all around training, development, personal development, training and assessment, all of that stuff. Doing a lot of that jazz for big government departments here in Australia. So I really learnt on my skills. So with that, I went off and had my baby. We had the contract at this job, and I had 9 months to get my shit together. 9 months. And I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to have to do this. And that really, really spurred me forward. Having that hard deadline meant that I had to make it work. There was no alternative, or otherwise, how am I going to put food on the table for my 2 kids at the time who were under 2 years old? Like, I just had to make it work. So I did, and I went on this quest and this journey, and pretty much the whole process that I'm going to share, I will share inside of this training, of what I did, how I went about it, and all of that jazz. I'm not going to ruin it here, but pretty much that's me, that's who I am. But I built a course creation agency very much at the early stages whilst working my day job, and ended up having a multi-6-figure business and agency with clients coming in to work with me. And it all started whilst I was working, sitting in my cubicle, working those reports and writing those training manuals and all of that jazz. That's how it started, but I was able to do it, and it is completely achievable. So I don't want you to ever forget that. Now, you may think, it's okay for you, you've been at this for some time, but listen, look at me here. Like, I may have been at this for some time, but I still do videos in my car. Like, I don't do them very rarely at my desk. I do them in my car. So, that's just how it is. So I'm very much like you. I just keep it real. I'm not pretentious or anything like that. I'm just who I am. So, fun fact, you are not in business unless you are making money. Shock horror. How could you say that, Janet? But it's true. After the birth of my daughter, things really shifted, as I said, and that 9-month runway was the biggest things I had, one of the biggest things that just kicked me up the booty. I had to do it. I had no choice. And so that was what I had to do. But I want to tell you that there really is no overnight success. There isn't. Like, it doesn't exist. And so it took me a good amount of time to try and figure this out. But I do want to show you this screenshot, because people think that, so this was in 13th of February 2017, like this, 2015. And so I was working, this is when I was working my day job, and then I got my first first client, which I was so excited about, like selling a package. And then I sold another package. And then I sold another one. And then I sold another one. And another one. This is in the space of about, what's that, 3 months or so. But it was really, really important for me to show you this, because I don't want you to kind of underestimate what can be achieved, because it can be done. I was working at the time, but I was still closing clients to be able to bring them in and work with them, And one of the greatest things that I'm able to do now is that I'm able to show my clients and people just like yourself who are working a day job and all of that stuff, how to do it. I have the privilege to be able to work with clients like all over the world, and here's just a few testimonials from them as well. I freaking love their faces off. Be able to, work with them. So if you want to start making some decent money in your business so you can leave your day job, like creating, 1, 2, 3,000 in addition to your salary, or whatever it is, whatever that figure is for you, I don't want to put numbers in your head. Then if you want to see results like that, then let's get the hell into it. So let's jump into pillar 1. Now, this is important. Well, they're all important, but this one is important. So if you're feeling like you're not making any progress and you actually can't figure out why, then really this pillar is like the lifeblood to your business. Now, here's a typical scenario, and I want you to tell me if this sounds familiar. My clients go through this, but you probably will do as well. So, typical scenario. So all day you've been at your desk, you're super excited to be working on your business. You've been secretly listening to podcasts, you've got one earbud in whilst you're typing at your desk, and you do all the parenting stuff that you have to do. You've raced from work, and you've done all of the stuff that you need to at home. Then you say to your partner, you lovingly say to him, or your significant other, or whatever it is, and say, I'm going to go and do some work. And so with all of that excitement, you're like, yes, I finally get some time. And then you sit down at your desk, and with all of that excitement, your fingers freeze over the keyboard. And you think, what the heck should I work on first? Am I right? Or you're like, oh crap, where do I start? What do I need to be doing? So am I right or am I right? I know I'm right, but I just want to check in with you. Now, this is all too common, and you're not alone. If you have been feeling that way, you are not alone. Because it even happens to me, and it happened to me when I was first starting out. And I know that you love staying in the new idea, excited phase, and you're gonna, then it's gonna be awesome phase. But then the struggle is real, and that scenario that I just explained was me. That was 100% me as well as my clients. So I completely get it. I had a 9-month runway, as I said, and I was in a contract job, and it meant I had to stop messing around and just get my shizzle together. And that's when things really exploded for me. So I made my first sale, as I told you. And at the point, I realized that this was no longer a joke for me. I can't stop. I need to just get my booty in gear and need to just make it happen. And as I showed you, that was the turning point for me. So let me tell you a story before I jump into that, what kicked my butt in gear. So I was sitting in a boardroom. Oh, Jesus. I was sitting in a boardroom. It was so incredibly dull. And a meeting that was just making me want to just pull my hair out. And I had my phone with me, and it started ringing. And weirdly enough, I don't know, at that time, didn't really take my phone into meetings, but I saw that it was my kids' daycare. So, gosh, oh my God. Picked up the phone, went outside, picked up the phone. Hello, oh, your son has got, 40-degree temperature. I was like, okay, I'll be there in 30 minutes. It wasn't far from where I worked. So, I had to leave. So I said to my boss, hey, I have to, and I whispered, I've got to leave. My son is in daycare. He's got a temperature. He's sick. I will catch up on the rest of the minutes and whatever it is when I get back tomorrow. And he turned around to me and said, speaking like normally, I was like, well, you can keep your freaking voice down. Like, there's no need for you to shout. And he's like, oh, well, you know, it's 2:00 now. It's almost the end of the day. Can you just stay to the end? And I thought, oh, hell no, absolutely not. And I just walked off. Like, I was like, who the hell do you think that you are? I could not believe my ears. I was like, this cannot be happening. And that also was the reason why, one of the big reasons why it reconnected me with why I was doing this and why I was starting this business in the first place. So as I'm going to say, the whole thing for your pillar to be able for you to get shit done is, one, you need to restrict your time. Right? Restrict the timeline in which you are going to give yourself to be able to make this a reality. There's nothing more pressing than having a hard deadline to be able to kick you in the butt. If you're having a baby in 9 months, that baby is coming, so you need to get your shit together. Like, it's the same principle, right? You treat it like your wedding day. If you're getting married, you know that day's coming, and you're going to make sure that, you know, everything is done and that's needed to be done. And also, the other reason is reconnect with your why. Why is it important for you to get this business going? So somewhere along the line, you've lost your way, you've got lost, you've got distracted by the bright lights of these noisy online business internet streets and forgotten why you are starting this business in the first place. Now, it may sound all too woo-woo and all of that jazz, but trust me, when I had that, you know, the guy my boss in the boardroom, when he said that to me, I was like, oh, you have to be kidding me. Like, no, this can't be my reality for the rest of my life, that every single interaction that I have to ask for permission if my kids are sick. No. That was the reason why. I was doing it for my kids and doing it for my own freedom and my own goddamn sanity. So for you, how are you going to apply this? You know, I hope I'm making sense. I really do. I hope I need to check in, because I always get a bit on my ranty pants and I forget that, you know, other people really just need to make sure that I'm keeping you on track. So does that make sense? You know, if it does, then let me know. I'd love to hear. So the takeaways from this, you've really got to have a hard deadline and a date. Like, give yourself, like, say, in the next 12 months, on this date, I am going to be handing in my notice, right? Or whatever that is for you. Or I'm going to be able to say to them, I'd say to your boss, I want to go down to 2 days a week, or whatever it is. And obviously you need to reverse engineer that to be able to get you there, but make sure you have a plan, right? Like, don't mess around. Have a date in mind to be able to do that, and then reconnect with why you're doing that. I want you to email me, janet@janetkafadar.com. You know, tell me why you're doing this. Why is it important for you to actually make this business a reality? Because let's not mess around. We don't need to be doing that. All right, let's get on to pillar 2. So the holy trinity of creating offers. So you've already reconnected with your why. You've got a solid date in place to say goodbye to your your day job. And so, as I said, now we're essentially reverse engineering it. So what are you going to sell? That's great. That's all well and good. We've got the date. Woo, yeah. I'm definitely going to make it a reality next 12 months. You've told your partner to help to be able to hold yourself accountable, whatever it is. So what are you going to sell to get yourself there? A course or selling one-on-one $97 sessions is not the answer. So now what you're going to learn inside of this pillar is really the 3 core things you need to be able to create an offer so that you can sell that package at an investment that is going to be able to move the needle in your business, so that you can start making that money and bringing in that cash flow, so that you can make it a reality to be able to leave a day job. So now tell me if this sounds familiar to you. So you've maybe attempted to create a one-on-one coaching offer or a service package or something like that. And maybe you sold a few, but let's just run some numbers here, because I like running numbers. So let's look at this. If you had a $97 1 hour coaching session, which I do not recommend you sell your coaching services at one-on-one at $97 anyway, but you have 12 hours potentially for that month to be able to do that. That's only going to bring 12 hours. And that means, delivering on those sessions at one-on-one, one-off sessions, mind, in the evenings, and that will bring in just over $1,100. Okay, so then you have a $149 digital product or something, and you make 12 sales. That's still only just under $1,800. That's not going to work. It blows my mind. I had someone reach out to me recently who said that who's part of my community, who said that they are thinking of creating a course. She's still working. She's a teacher. And I was like, but why are you creating a course? That's way more headache than it's actually worth. Take it from someone who had a multiple six-figure course creation agency. Jesus, no, you do not want to be creating a course. That is the last thing that you want to be doing. Oh my God, I can't even think of anything worse. So really, the offer that you create needs to be no less than $15,000 to $18,000 per package. Period. As you saw from the slide that I showed at the beginning, it was $1,500 was the first package that I sold, and then I incrementally kept raising the prices. No less than that. You honestly can't. It just can't be. It just can't be. So how do we go about finding out what the 4 pillars are, the 3 pillars to creating a stellar offer? So an offer that you can create to be able to help you, leave your day job. How do you do it? Now, I call this the WOW formula, and I've been teaching this for 7 years now. It's the same process that I've been using for course creation, for anything else, right? And you can apply this to so many aspects of your business. The WOW formula is identifying who's your ideal client, who they are. Not just I've got this avatar and I've got it written on paper, or that's complete BS. Don't do that. It makes me crazy. Don't do that. It's not necessary. The other part, the second part of it is the outcome. What outcome and transformation will they get? They will get. So what outcome and transformation they will get, and what problem do they have? You need to be so clear on these, so clear, to be able to help you create an offer that your ideal clients will need, and that they will want, and that will serve them to be able to get the transformation that you can offer them, because you're a badass at what you do anyway. It's so important that you have that and you provide them with that. So that's the WOW formula. Let me tell you how this went. So for my client, my beautiful client, M&A, she enrolled 2 clients into her group coaching program following the same process to be able to, this is just an outline framework to be able to create an offer. There's more to it than that, but that simple 3-step formula, WOW, who, outcome, and what problem, is what helped her to be able to enroll 2 people into her program within 48 hours. She was terrified. She was shaking her legs. She's like, oh my God, it's not going to work. No one's going to enroll. It's going to be the worst thing ever. But I was like, do this, do the work. Trust me, it will work. Just do it. And she did. So think about this for yourself, right? How amazing will that be for you to be able to enroll a new client at $1,500 into your program, whether it's a one-on-one coaching program where you can deliver those sessions in the evenings, or whether it's a group coaching program, whatever it is. Can you imagine? It's time to get real. Let's not mess around and play with small numbers here. Let's do what's necessary. All right, so let's jump into pillar 3. So pillar 3 is the 20 minutes a day money miracle. So this is all about how to effectively build your business on 20 minutes a day before you watch your favorite Netflix show. I do love a good Netflix show. You got to email me and let me know what your favorites are. I did love all the Marvel ones, but they've all been blooming taken off Netflix. Anyway, moving on. If you have 2 hours now, you will have 2 hours tomorrow. What do I mean by that? It means that it still doesn't matter. It still doesn't matter how you'll make a dent in your business, right? It's important that you have a small amount of time to work on something, be intentional, get it done, and be out of there. So it's easy for us to be like, oh, well, you know, I've got 20 minutes or I've got 2 hours now to work on this. Like, you don't want 2 hours to work on something whilst you've already been at work like for 8-9 hours. Like, it's a long ass day. That's just not what you need and where you need to be focusing. So if you spent, 20 minutes working on something solidly and you did that for 5-6 days a week, and on any of the things that I've mentioned before in pillar 1 and pillar 2 as well, damn, you'd get so much done. So tell me if this scenario sounds familiar. So, you're getting home from work, you put the kids to bed, and you finally have some time to work on your business. You're like, yes. You keep working and working on something. God knows what you're working on. Maybe it's on your website, writing that about page. Maybe it's about finding the best email service provider that you should use or whatever it is. And you keep working and working, and you look at the clock and you look at your computer and you realize you have about 15 tabs and 4 different windows open, and it's already 12 o'clock and you're like, holy shit. I've got to get up for work. I've got to get for work at 6 a.m. and get ready to do this all over again. Oh my goodness. So my question to you, are you being effective if you're working on something for long periods of time? Really? The answer is no. Absolutely not. Like, you're not if you're working on something for so long. We all have those periods of time, whether it is you're a morning person or an evening person or whatever it is. We have those pockets of time where we're the most effective. Do you know the Pomodoro technique? Okay, so if you don't, let's look at the science and the facts behind it. So the Pomodoro technique is a time management method developed by Francesco Cirillo. I'm assuming, I think I said that right, in the 1980s. And the technique used a timer to break down work into intervals, and traditionally 25 minutes in length, separated by short breaks. So really, my whole framework and the work that I have been doing, and I hadn't really realized that I had been doing, was a 20-minute, I'd been adapted from this. So 20 minutes a day to work on your business. I like to call it the ITI. So it's your in being intentional plus restricting your time equals cash flow, right? And this is exactly what I did whilst I was working my day job. I only had a short amount of time after I finished work, because when I would get home and I'd put the kids to bed, my daughter was still really young and she was waking up in the evenings, around 9, 10 o'clock or whatever, and I was still having to nurse her and all of that stuff. Like, I didn't have whole heaps of time, hours and hours to spend working on my business. I had like short amount of time to work on things. So I was really intentional about it. I was like, I had my phone, and at that time, I don't think it was even a smartphone. I think it might have been a Nokia something. So I wasn't really doing too much. Only so much as I could do, and then I would also work on the computer as well. But I would say to my husband, like, can you make sure that I'm only here for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes? If I am, you're allowed to come over and tell me to get off. So having that intention, having that restriction really helped bring in my cash flow. So take a look at my beautiful client, Mariana here. And she was able to do the same thing. She ended up, she ended up booking in 2 sales calls with women to work with her. think about it. Like, think about the time that you are wasting just sitting scrolling on in the evenings. Get focused, get intentional about what you're doing. So here are some ideas. So if you want this to be you, then let's, go ahead with some cash generating activities that may help you out. So here's some of them here. So income generating activities. So 20 minutes, can you spend 20 minutes speaking to your ideal clients? Can you get to know your audience's pain points? Like, really get to understand them. Can you send 2 emails to your friends and families and colleagues asking for potential referrals for people to work with? Even if you're not 100% clear on who it is that you work with, or your messaging is off, or whatever it is, like, it's progress over perfection here, and letting go of all of that stuff. Can you, so can you reach out to potential influencers or people to potentially collaborate with? Can you do something for 20 minutes to potentially understand your market, or even understand your market in a way that look at your industry and look at what isn't being said or what isn't being done, which is a huge, huge thing to do. Can you schedule 2 20-minute consults in exchange for potential testimonials from clients, and then with all of that, you'll be looking to create, it starts with kind of creating a 4 to 8 week service package, because you understand what potentially your ideal clients and everyone is going through. Can you write 1 social media post on your phone inside of Google Drive or something, or send out an email to people about your potential offer? Write 1 post and tell people about who you are and how you help them, and invite them to work with you. Like, it's not that hard. Just think about it. Like, these are some things that you can do for 20 minutes a day, every day for 5 days, even 4 days, and do one of those activities. Build on it day after day, week after week, month after month, and the results will come. Like, it's not rocket science. The results come when you do the work and when you have the clarity to be able to help you get there. And so this is pretty much how it looked for me. As I said, like, I was very much at the point where I was doing the same thing, nursing my daughter, trying to build and do this little bits of work, like here and there, but it was working. Thank God. It was. I had no choice. I really had no choice for it not to work. So, as I said, do this for 4 or 5 nights a week, and you'll be freaking killing it. You'll be killing it. Because the long and short of it is, if you don't, then really no one has got time for that. So it's time to stop wasting time trying to look busy and all of that shit. It just doesn't matter. Ain't no one got time for that. So my question to you is, send me an email and let me know what you're going to be working on after this training. I'd love to know. Pillar 4, cash flow mastery. Now, I've just looked at this slide and seen that it says cash flow mystery. Ooh. Oh my goodness, what an idiot. Anyway, don't let that bother you. The content is really good. So it's supposed to say cash flow mastery. And now the thing is, if you ask any successful entrepreneur, they will tell you this same thing that I'm probably going to tell you now as well, when it comes to, mastering your cash flow and all of that. And when I say mastering your cash flow, in the sense that getting on that momentum train to help move you forward time after time. And that really does come once you've got, your first pillar down, your second one, your first pillar, which is really figuring out your why and getting shit done. A second pillar, which is all about making sure that you are, you've got the wow offer in place, figuring out the holy trinity of your potential offer to be able to create your potential offer. The third pillar, making sure that you are working on your business, 20 minutes a day to keep moving it forward and working on cash flow generating activities. So once you kind of got that cycle going, then you need to kind of build up that momentum. So I said, the secret ingredient to successfully generate clients and cash flow in your business in a matter of weeks and even months. And I'll share with you how I help my clients go from zero to consistent cash flow. But really, the one thing that if you ask any other successful entrepreneur what it was that helped propel them forward and what moved the needle for them, was a coach. Hands down. It was a coach that helped them move forward and actually helped them move the needle in their business. And this is what my business looked like. As I said at the very beginning, this is how it was. I was charging $127 for my sessions. And at that point, is just before the 13th of February, I just hired a coach, I think in the January. And once I kind of got my shizzle together, put my booty in place, then obviously having a coach behind me is what moved me forward. Without a doubt, it's evident. You can see it from the numbers. Like, if I didn't have that, I would have been in the same place. And so this is what as I said, this is what it all looked like. And I really let go of any ego. That I let go of the fact that I could do this on my own, and I didn't have, and I have all the answers. No, I didn't have all the answers, and I knew nothing, and I needed help. Like, there was no dancing around the situation. Like, I just didn't. I needed help. I was charging $297 sessions for my work, and I just wasn't getting anywhere. People were like not that they were turning their nose up at me, but it more so that they just didn't see the value in what I was doing, and I needed someone to help me get clear on that for sure. So as I said before, the turning point was really getting clear, was pillar one. I had a short run, and I had to stop dabbling and I had to go all in. I had to make it work. I had no choice. And pillar 4 was I had to work out my offer trifecta and what my offer was going to be, and I followed that WOW formula. And then pillar 3 was I figured out a systematic strategy to work on my business in the evenings. I didn't even realize that I was doing that until I actually did it. And then pillar 4 was all I needed was someone to help me get there faster. And that really was. I didn't have time. I had 9 months. I had to figure it out, and I had to make it work. And so take my client, Cass. She is a clinical and coaching psychologist, and she created an online program as well, and had an incredible response to an invitation that she had to her online coaching program. She got like 20 enrollments to her program within a really short space of time. And it was just like, oh my goodness, it was just great. So, my clients get results when they work with me. Take my client Farron as well. She is also a yoga teacher and the founder of the program Life School. And she increased her coaching services by 40% and enrolled 2 new clients to her program within 24 hours. Like, she crushed it. She did so well. I'm so proud of her. So let's recap, shall we? Just as Jennifer Aniston is here. So what is it? So to sum it up, as Jennifer Aniston said, what do you need to do to leave your 9 to 5 in the next 12 months? You need a short runway, as I said. You need a freaking stellar offer that really taps into what the who your clients are, the outcomes they want to get, and also what the problems are as well. And then you need a strategy. That's tailored to you and to your business, because every single business is different. 100% different. And the only thing that's stopping you is you right now. You are the only thing stopping yourself from getting the things that you want, because you know already that this is what you want for yourself, for your business, for your family, to be able to get to where you want to. So you really do have 2 options. You may feel like you don't have a business because you don't have any paying clients, or because you've downloaded all the freebies, like you have all the freebies in your inbox. You've watched the latest trainings and the coolest social media strategy, and you've actually, quite frankly, OD'd on online courses, and you've DIY'd and strung together with all your worksheets and all of that stuff as much as you can. But the thing is, you're still in the same place. You're still kind of feeling lost, feeling like John Travolta was at the beginning of this training, feeling lost with where you are and all of that jazz. So I don't want you to feel like that at all. And it's not necessary, not in the slightest. And as I said before, maybe you're struggling with, how do I connect all the dots? Or maybe it's even connecting with your prospective clients. And maybe it's even organizing your train of thoughts, and how to bring your skill set and your passion and convert it into structure in a way that will really get people to work with you and who are willing to invest in your services so that they actually see the value in what you're doing, right? If that's the case, then we need to connect like yesterday. Like, honestly, we need to connect. Let's make this happen. So if you nodded along to anything that I mentioned above, then, it's time for us to make it happen. Then we need to connect like yesterday and get this happening. Let's jump on the phone together. So I want to tell you what it's like to work with moi. If you need to work with me, you need a customized plan, a strategy that suits your life for a start and factors in all the things that you've got going on and all the things that you've got to manage, and you've got to, and working with me, we get really crystal clear on who your ideal clients are and actually create a clear revenue path so that you can leave your day job. Like, I'm not here to mince my words or to muck around or anything like that. I'm really serious about this, and I really want to see you going after what you want and living the life that you truly freaking desire, because it's not going to happen if you're just going to tinker and try and think that you've got all the answers. It doesn't happen like that. I really want to also talk about, as I've already mentioned on here, I forgot to put that on there. Oh, the scariness of investing. Oh my goodness, it can feel very, very scary of investing money to work with a coach. But listen, this is the thing. You didn't just sit through this whole training of like 50 minutes or so and get all the way to the end and do nothing, right? There's obviously a reason why you're still sitting here and you're listening to this. There's a reason why you're watching. And I know that you don't just want freedom, right? You actually want to feel free. You want the freedom, the feeling of actually feeling free. So I really want you to kind of like feel into that, feel into it and actually take all of that in. Now, if you feel like you need help to be able to do that, and you're feeling like, you know what, enough is enough and I'm really sick of this and I need some change, this is not a joke for me, like I need to make this happen. If that is you, then I really do want you to book in a call with me, book in a Your Next Step consult. And we can jump on a call together, figure out where you are in your business, what you've been working on, where you're stuck. And I'll provide you with some strategies and some guidance to be able to help you move forward. And that's the link below, janetcafferter.com/freedom consult. I'm not here to push anyone to work with me. That's not my jam. If we're not a good fit, we're not a good fit. Like, it's just how I am. I'm not here to push, force anyone or anything like that. But if I do feel that we are a good fit, then I'll provide you with an opportunity for us to work together. And so I only work with action takers, so women who are ready to create a new life for themselves in the next 12 months, ready to back themselves and ready to jump in no matter what, like you're gonna freaking figure it out. And people and women who are coachable and take feedback on board and take action. Now, if that sounds like you, then go ahead and book in a call for us to connect, let's do this. So I'll let you know, as I said before, if we're a good fit for us to work together inside of my coaching program, which is called Your Next Step. And it's an amazing 4-month program where we get to work together and as part of a group with some other amazing action-taking, go-getting women who are building their businesses as well after dark. So I showed you Mariana's story earlier on as well. Mariana was great, and she said as well, she also got one-on-one time with me as well as part of the Your Next Step program, which everyone does. And if you decide to join, then that's where you'll also get one-on-one support and guidance and strategy from myself, and lots and lots of hands-on. But her response was she found the one-on-one was great, but she got way more out of the group than she thought she would. Now, this really speaks to if you have been at that place where you have overdosed on your courses like a crazy person, and you've DIY'd as much as you can, which is what she said as well, but Mariana said, and she had the feeling that she needed one-on-one support, but didn't realize how much she needed it until she was inside of the program. So the group coaching was really what she got out of it the most, and she wasn't even thinking that she would do before she even considered it. So it's so important to be surrounded by the people that will be there to rise you up, to help you get to where you want, to help you reach your goals, and all of that stuff is so important. Go ahead and click that link, janetkafadar.com/freedom consult. So that's it. Your dreams need a strategy behind them. Otherwise, girlfriend, it's just a wish. Fact, it is. And no, I don't want that for you whatsoever. Not at all. We don't want that. So if you are interested and you like my vibe and you like how I work and how I'll be able to help you move forward with your business, get some clarity in place, help you figure out a real plan to move forward with your business, cut all the noise. I'm all about simplicity and keeping things simple, as you can see from this whole training, typos and all. I like to keep things really, really simple because us mamas just don't have the time to do everything or, to do all the things. We've got minimal time. Let's focus in and dial in the things that are important. Go ahead to janetkafadar.com/freedom consult. And I cannot wait to connect with you. Bye.